Hello everyone, JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City match analysis, this time analysing the Crystal Palace versus Manchester City match at Selhurst Park, which City ended up being a very comfortable game with a solid 2-0 away performance. So I'm going to be analysing that, but first, before I do, make sure, like always, if you're interested in enjoying the content with football news, Manchester City news, Manchester City previews, analysis, vlogs, things like that, make sure you subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, put your push notifications on, aiming for 5,000 subscribers. We're still only 11 away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Go and check out my social media links, which you can find in description below and popping up on screen for my Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget, leave your thoughts in the comments below of this performance and also leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. So we're going to crack on with the talking points for this game, and the first big talking point comes from the team news with Rodri and Fernandinho coming in at centre-back. Now, I could understand John Stones not starting. That's understandable to me because he's just come back from injury and you don't want to rush him back too much. However, we did go with Kevin De Bruyne playing, who's just come back from injury, so yeah. So's Benjamin Mendy, and we went with him, so yeah. But we didn't go with Aguero, Otamendi and Kyle Walker also missing out, so very interesting. I felt very sorry for Eric Garcia sitting on the bench. It's almost like they don't want to use him and they don't trust him and they want to go with other players that play in other positions ahead of him. I'd love to know what he thinks. That's just what I was looking at anyway. But I managed to predict the front three for Manchester City yesterday. Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus. So I suspect we'll probably be seeing Sergio Aguero and Riyad Mahrez in the Champions League match in midweek. Yeah, Kyle Walker, he's out ill. I'm ill at the moment. If he's got what I've got, he won't be back for Tuesday. That's my call. Nicholas Otamendi's got some kind of injury too, so he wasn't in the squad, which is why. Now, Crystal Palace went with Jordan Ayew up front, Schlupp and Zaha, Van Aanholt. They also had Miljelovic back also, so yeah. I'd have thought that they'd have been looking for a little bit more pace. Townsend on the bench. Okay. First half, Crystal Palace, I felt far too defensive. Manchester City had a decent half, in my opinion. They were allowing us too many chances, too many touches in their half. City found it all too easy. No, we didn't get the first 15-minute goal that we're normally looking for. But when I say Manchester City, just after the international break, sometimes might struggle a little bit because it takes them just a little while to get into their flow. This game showed it. We got off to a nice quick attacking start, didn't put our chances away, weren't playing the best I've ever seen us play, but was playing and doing enough in this game for us to be able to score a couple of goals, which has ended up what happened in the first half. So really it was just job done. This is what we should have been doing against Norwich, so it was nice to see lessons learned after the international break. I can't really compare to Wolves because Crystal Palace and Wolves' style, they're very different. Wolves like to run. They're just that if you keep it at 0-0 for as long as possible, get some nice fresh legs in and get players that are able to run at Manchester City later on. That was their philosophy. Once they conceded Crystal Palace, that's just gone out the window. And so, yeah, pretty decent half from Manchester City. I think Cancelo went close, or a couple of good shots, well saved. Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, David Silva, Gabriel Jesus, also shots ended up either getting saved or being going wide. But yeah, pretty dominating from City. And then Crystal Palace grew into the game. And then from there, Manchester City just looked to have a good end to the half, basically. And that's exactly what happened. Nice ball in. I think it was Bernardo Silva. Very delicate ball. He tried this cross-come shot thing a couple of times in the game. This was more of a cross onto it. Decent ball in. Gabriel Jesus with a decent header. I think it comes off his shoulder in the end. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter where it comes from. As long as it's accurate, it hits the post and goes in. Keeper no chance. You don't save them. Absolutely fantastic. For City down our right hand side, so Crystal Palace's left, for Cancelo, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, absolutely ripped Palace to shreds. Absolute quality, just what we were looking for, getting ahead, and it got even better because 1 minute later, Benjamin Mendy, he wins the ball high up in Crystal Palace attacking Manchester City, so wins it up low down in the pitch, accelerates quickly, ends up finding through Raheem Sterling. He waits. And then just does a nice, delicate little chip over the defender. David Silva's there, right place, right time. Has to take it first time. Drills it nice and low between, I think it's Hennessy's legs, and into the bottom, right in through the middle of the net, right through his legs. Absolutely super. Job done, really, from Manchester City there. A solid half. Managed to put a couple of chances away. Just what we deserved, in my opinion. So we got in at half-time. I've made a note, yeah. Job done, really. Good first half performance. Nothing else really to say other than Crystal Palace's approach. did look a little bit suspect. Not enough pace up front to hurt Manchester City, and ultimately their hold-up play wasn't probably as good as what they were looking for. Manchester City just looking not to concede early on in the second half, and Crystal Palace were looking dangerous on set pieces. But when City's squad's so small, any team that's got any bit of height is going to look dangerous on set pieces. Got into the second half, City hit the outside of the post. I think it was Raheem Sterling. Kevin De Bruyne ended up hitting the inside of the post. Did we hit the crossbar too? Can't remember. But yeah, there was good saves from Hennessy. He had a great game considering Crystal Palace lost and conceded twice. But speaking of goalkeepers, has to mention Edison. How fantastic was he? I think it was Benteke. He got a lovely header. He got a big strong hand, put it onto the crossbar. Absolutely brilliant save, deserved clean sheet from Edison and got it. So yeah, much more what was looking for from Manchester City. One big talking point, the VAR with a shove on Kevin De Bruyne. VAR's just not very good in the Premier League. I mean, if the referee's going to give a decision, then VAR more than likely aren't going to overrule that unless it's involved with the new handball rule, which has influenced Manchester City against Tottenham. But it seems when Tottenham does it, it gets allowed, even though the big screen doesn't want it to allow them. So it's a bit of a farce. There a lot more work needs doing on VAR because at times it is going to ruin games and already has. So yeah, VAR, that's for another video. Anyway, full time, Manchester City 2-0, solid away win, much better after the international break, very slick, very smooth. Could easily have had 3, 4, 5 really if we wanted to. I'm sure the stats will back that up for me as I have a look at them. So City ended up having 71% possession to Crystal Palace's 29. 21 shots from City, 10 on target, just 2 goals. Like I said, they'll be looking to put 3 or 4 of them away if they end up getting stats like that in midweek, for example. Crystal Palace, 7 shots, 2 on target, 2 saves from Edison, 274 passes from Crystal Palace, 75% pass completion rate. That isn't too bad. City, 680 passes at just an 88% pass completion rate. So that is something I'm sure Pep will try and work on because he is a perfectionist. City ended up creating 6 clear-cut chances. Like I said, could easily have been 3 or 4. We've only put 2 away, 6 clear-cut chances. You know, that is something to work on. I'm not sure why Gabriel Jesus didn't square it across to Kevin De Bruyne before anyone puts that in the comments for a tap-in. Even looked at him and went for a shot instead. De Bruyne fuming. I would be too. In terms of defensive stats, Crystal Palace, more tackles, more interceptions, more blocks, more clearances, more headed clearances. Manchester City in aerial duels, though, surprisingly, stronger than what Crystal Palace were, which is very interesting. So, yeah, Crystal Palace, in summary, really poor in my opinion. Don't really like to criticise opposition teams, but we know you need hard work. You need to run at Manchester City and hurt Manchester City. We've seen Norwich do it. We've seen Wolves do it. I'm sure we'll see other teams doing it to us too. Even Everton, even though we beat them 3-1, tried their hardest to do it. Whereas with Crystal Palace, it just weren't ticking, and I'm not sure why. Maybe someone can leave it in the comments if you're a Crystal Palace fan, what was happening, because they've got off to a decent start to the season. I'm not sure. Should have gone with pace, not power. Townsend on the bench. I don't know. Wilfred Zaha, I think he scored more international goals this season than he actually scored Premier League goals. I don't know. But yeah, wonderful team performances from Manchester City. We'll play like this every week. We'll be winning more than we're losing, certainly, but we'll be winning a lot of games because it's just excellent. Like, defensively, we look sound in midfield, completely dominating. We were creating opportunities. Like I said, the only thing that we're missing really was the clinical touch. We put 2 away, yes. Could easily have been 4 or 5. Gabriel Jesus, my JSGC man of the match, just purely because I thought he had a very good game. He was here, there and everywhere, dropping deeper, influential on Manchester City's build-up play. So was Rodri and Fernandinho at centre-back too. That worked. Been very interesting to see how that works if we're going up against an attacking team. I dread to think what would happen potentially if we was going up against Liverpool with them two at centre-back. But yeah, teams that like to run at them, it'd be interesting. But a team that isn't interested in doing much, centre-back partnership actually is very effective. So yeah, something for Manchester City to work on. We've got Atalanta coming up next. Job done. 2 home Premier League games coming up before we make them go to Anfield, so we really do need to make them count. This moment in time, 5 points behind. Liverpool's got a game in hand today. Old Trafford against Manchester United. I'll be having a watch. Yeah, see what happens there. I'll be honest with you, I feel like Solskjaer's job's on the line here. Man United are under a lot of pressure. They've got no De Gea. They've got no Paul Pogba. It's going to be very difficult. Liverpool will be fancying their chances, and if I'm completely honest, more than likely Liverpool will be 8 points clear once again. So it's up to Manchester City just to keep putting the pressure on when we're playing first, pick up the wins, put Liverpool under pressure when they do drop points, and trust me, they're not going to win every single Premier League game. See what happens from there. Liverpool can equal Manchester City's Premier League win record, that we have set 18 wins in a row. That can be equal if they win at Old Trafford today. So hopefully, yeah, Liverpool might drop points. I don't want to cheer Manchester United on and see them win, but let's put it this way, I'll be ecstatic if they do win. Maybe a draw. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. But Champions League up next. Response needed, response done. We move on. Let's see how we go. Back at the Etihad, try and improve our form there. So it's been JSGC. Hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Social medias in description below, and I'll see you all again very soon. So it's been JSGC. Peace. Ciao for now.